with more wedding content. We have been married for about 2 weeks now, which is exciting, and the wedding content is still coming at you hot. So I really wanted to make this video because searching for wedding venues in Orlando ended up being harder than I expected. Orlando is a place that people come to for vacations, and in my mind, I thought that would make it a bit easier to look at venues, but that was not the case, at least for me, at least. Something that I quickly found out about Orlando itself when it comes to weddings is that, there are little pockets of areas that, people go to, but they all have their different quirks, so to speak. So like in the theme park area with like Universal and Disney, people get married there, which is great. We were never considering a Disney wedding, one, because that's not really our style, and also we just don't have the budget for that. So that was kind of out of the picture. Similarly with Universal, it is a little bit more affordable, just, relatively speaking, but we weren't really looking for that either. Just in terms of like the resorts that are over there wasn't really the style that we were going for in terms of venue and things like that. So that was kind of out of the picture. And then we live closer to downtown Orlando, close to the Winter Park area as well, about like 20 minutes from there, if you know where that is. And that is just one of my favorite places in all of Orlando. We love spending time in Winter Park, so we were looking at venues over there as well. So many beautiful venues over there. I feel like a lot of people that get married in Orlando get married in Winter Park. The only thing with Winter Park is that it is a historic district, so a lot of the venues have very strict restraints on just how to utilize the venue itself, vendors for the venue, and then honestly, most of them, you have to be out of there by like 9, I wanna say, maybe 9:30 at the latest. And we just were looking for something that, we could keep the party going. We knew our friends and our family wanted to not end the night that early. We didn't want to take it back to an Airbnb or anything like that. So that also ruled out Winter Park for us. And truly thinking about it, like that's really all we saw that was available in like the Orlando proper area. So we had to start looking for areas further outside of Orlando. We even went as far as looking at venues in like Sarasota, Tampa, but that all ended up being a little too far for our comfort. And we just knew that, we would have a lot of family and friends coming in. They wanted to do the theme parks and things like that. So we didn't want to add on even more travel for them as well. So just through, I'm trying to think how we found Villa Festa. I think we found it through Instagram, I want to say. Like I was heavy in a wedding algorithm, Instagram and TikTok, honestly. And I think I found Villa Festa through maybe like a photographer or a florist on Instagram. And just blanket statement too, like that's how I found a lot of vendors, was through social media. So if you're a wedding vendor and watching this, like utilize social media, because it is definitely going to be a huge help to you, but that's just my 2 cents. But yeah, I didn't even say it, but our wedding venue ended up being Villa Festa in DeLand, Florida. I think in some past videos I have said that, but if this is your first video watching, Villa Festa was our venue. It ended up being the perfect venue for us. Like truly can't think of anything going better, quite honestly, in terms of just the space and the venue itself. So all that long-winded being said, I really wanted to do kind of a comprehensive video on Villa Festa, just because when I was looking at venues and honestly trying to find more information on Villa Festa itself, there wasn't really a lot of information out there on this specific venue. So I thought I would add to just the knowledge blanket, I guess, that's on the internet for Villa Festa, because at the end of the day, I recommend this venue so much. Within this video, I will show a comprehensive tour of the space, as well as kind of things that we ended up really loving about DeLand. I'll be completely honest, we had never been to DeLand before finding Villa Festa, but it's a really cute town, very kind of like small town, college town vibes, which I personally really loved. Our guests ended up loving it too, so I'll talk about that more later in the video. But I just wanted to kind of talk about some perks and why we ended up choosing Villa Festa first. So first and foremost, what I kind of like was telling people when we were choosing and people that were asking is that Villa Festa is kind of like a pseudo Airbnb. So the package that we got, we were able to essentially have the property from Friday into Monday. And that was honestly one of the biggest, if not the biggest selling point as to why we ended up choosing Villa Festa as a venue. So we knew that the people attending our wedding, you know, they didn't want to cut it off at 9. They are people that can kind of go until the late, you know, midnights and beyond when the time is right. So essentially with Villa Festa, the night of your wedding, our wedding was on a Saturday. We had to end the event itself at 10:30, which essentially meant that all outside noise and music had to be brought inside or just like completely cut off. And then at that time, we kind of could do, I don't want to say whatever we want because with respect to the venue, it's not whatever you want, but essentially we brought the party inside. A lot of our guests did end up going home at that time, a lot of the older guests, a lot of the people with families, but you know, the people that still wanted the night to keep going, they all came inside and we had some like extra drinks for them inside. We had some extra food, different things like that. And we were able to kind of, you know, have that celebration keep going inside the house. That was a huge perk of having like the Airbnb of it all for the venue. Another huge perk of that as well is that our wedding party, they were all able to sleep at the venue. So on Friday when we had our rehearsal, you can kind of see this in a past video, that was the weekend of the wedding, or like the week leading up to the wedding, but the wedding party all slept at the venue on Friday. We had a very chill night on Friday, which I personally loved. We didn't have like a formal rehearsal dinner or anything like that. We had a welcome party instead at our house, so that the Friday again could be super chill. So they all ended up sleeping at the venue. There were beautiful bathrooms for like everyone to shower and like wind down in, and the bedrooms are amazing too. You'll see that in the tour. But yeah, that was just a huge perk because we did have a larger wedding party as well. So we weren't taking people from like a hotel or anything the morning of and then, you know, caravanning over to the venue. We all slept and woke up where we were supposed to be, and no shade to my friends or anything, but that worked out like so perfectly because we didn't have to worry about kind of the in-between. So that was awesome, just being able to wake up at the venue on Saturday. We also got to kind of start a little bit later. I feel like I've been in weddings where we start at like 6 a.m. getting hair and makeup done because of that transportation time and things like that, but we all started at 9. Hair and makeup came over at 9, and to me that's a reasonable time. So that just like worked out so great. So again, that was really awesome. And then the night of the wedding as well, like after the after party and everything, some of the wedding party stayed sleeping as well over there. Some went kind of back with their significant others or to their hotels or anything like that, but there was a good chunk of us that still slept over at the venue. So that Sunday we were cleaning up, you know, any of the extra florals and things like that. And we had some of the wedding party being able to help us there too. So that was another great thing, was that post-wedding, you know, we weren't rushed out of the venue that night. You know, like at my sister's wedding, we were all cleaning up frantically, all collecting the florals so that we could get it out of the venue and back to our house to decide what to do with after. But because we had the venue till Monday, on that Sunday, you know, we were able to take it really easy, clean up at our own speed, kind of get everything organized in that sort of way. So again, just having the venue for that weekend was just, what's the word I'm looking for? It was just so easy. It made the whole weekend so easy to really just do things at our own speed. So another thing that I do have to point out about Villa Festa is the owners. Beth and Brian are just amazing. If you end up touring this venue, you will definitely meet them. And they are the sweetest couple ever. They own this property. They were the ones to renovate it because it is a 1920s style home, or it was built in the 1920s, and they were able to refurbish it, really keep the charm of the original house, but obviously make some upgrades and everything. So I just can't say enough good things about them. We chose Villa Festa, I want to say like about a year before, if not like a few months and a year before our actual wedding date. And I was messaging Beth even at that time, and she was so responsive, so kind to all of our questions and all of our planning that, again, like they are a huge reason why we picked the venue itself too. kind of going off of that, another reason that it's not why we picked the venue, but something that really solidified our choice in this venue was Beth and Brian's resources. When you decide to go with Villa Festa as a venue, they'll give you like their preferred vendor list. So actually, this is one reason why we chose Villa Festa too, is because they were not strict on vendors. They had a preferred vendor list, but none of them you had to go with except for catering, I want to say. Oh, I don't want to put this on record because I don't remember. Because we ended up going with someone on their preferred list that was for catering, but yeah, no, actually it is right. So yeah, you don't have to go with the preferred vendors for catering, because I remember seeing like another wedding had like pizza or something that I didn't even see on that list. So again, wrapped up in all of that mumbo jumbo is that they were not strict on vendors. Like we saw some venues that you had to use like 1 of 3 for florals, 1 of 3 for decorations, 1 of 3 for caterers, things like that. But for Villa Festa, they gave you their preferred list, and you could choose from them for if you wanted to, or just use it as inspiration and stuff. So that was really nice to have that flexibility. We ended up going with a lot of their preferred vendors though, because it really just made it so much easier on us in terms of planning. And we loved the vendors that we used, that we got from their recommendation. So definitely would say that is a huge perk too. Now I'll stop talking to the camera because you probably want to see the good stuff, which is the tour of the venue. I know that was something that I really wanted to see when I was looking up venues. They have a great website again, but I feel like pictures don't do it justice. Honestly, my videos probably don't do it justice either, but hopefully this gives you kind of like a good all around feel for the venue itself. But this is just another reason why we chose this venue, is because of the aesthetic and the visuals. The visuals itself. This is such a beautiful, beautiful home. Beth and Brian again flipped it so well that it still has the charm that you're looking for kind of like an older estate, but it is renovated and refurbished and just really great. So yeah, I won't get too into it right now, but go ahead, watch the tour right now, and I'll do some voiceover kind of explaining the space. Okay, these clips go kind of fast, so I will do my best trying to explain everything, but I do want to state that everything you see inside the house in terms of the furniture, like this table, chairs, etc., they can all be moved and adjusted for your wedding. So like in this room, we moved out all of this furniture. We took portraits in here. The checkerboard floor was perfect for that. This cat does come with the house. I think it's the neighbor's cat, but they were at our wedding and it was a hit with guests. We loved this room, this mantle here we decorated. I wish we had our wedding photos back because I could then show you how we decorated everything, but we put up pictures on that mantle. It was very, very cute. This upstairs area is closed off to guests during the wedding hours, so no one will be like rifling through you or your wedding party stuff, but it truly was perfect. I think all the rooms and bathrooms are listed on their website, so you can kind of determine if it will fit your party and stuff, but it perfectly fit ours. Everyone had a great time getting ready up here. Again, there was room for everybody. The beds were very comfortable, I will say as well. The salon was perfect for getting ready. We had makeup up here. And yeah, it was just perfect. The rooms themselves were great for photos as well. We did really spread out and kind of make a mess of things, so we didn't take too many getting ready photos in the bedrooms, but I've seen other brides do that and they really just make for great photos. Lots of space to hang up all of your dresses or your outfits and steam everything. This balcony was beautiful. We unfortunately didn't get to utilize it for our wedding because things were just like moving and grooving, no one's fault. But yeah, it's beautiful for photos. I've seen people take photos up here, from below, different things like that. But here you can see the outside space. It is so gorgeous. This lawn area is where we had our ceremony. They also added a fountain, which you saw in those earlier clips, and we had that for our wedding, and it just adds a lot of like kinetic energy and beauty, I guess. The pavilion is where we had our reception as well. Really great space. This is the carriage house. This is where Jordan and I spent the night before, and we also had a few people getting ready in here too. So again, just an amazing, amazing space.
Hi, we are in DeLand today.
Wow.
We are here for an open house for our venue, so we decided to make a little day of it and walk around the town and see what's all over here so we can like suggest things to our family and stuff.
I'm a little hungry.
I'm really hungry.
I could maybe get some coffee or some other type of drink.
Definitely.
So let's just see what we find.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said in the beginning of the video, we truly had not spent a lot of time in this city before finding it as our wedding venue, essentially. So it was really cool to learn more about an area of Florida that I had never been to. I just want to highlight that this coffee shop here, we utilized for our wedding day for breakfast and lunch, and they were awesome. We catered in breakfast sandwiches and box lunch and they were perfect for our wedding party and just getting ready. So I would highly suggest that. This Old Town area is also like literally 5 minutes, if not less, from the venue, so super easy to get to for the wedding guests, for yourself. Like I said earlier too, it really feels like a small town, really feels like a college town, like specifically my college town. So I really loved that. We were visiting on a Sunday, I believe, this day, and there was like a flea market, so that was super cool. We came across this jazz band that was playing in this little square, and they were very good. But of course, you know, Jordan had to check that out. But yeah, this was just a really great town to get to know. There was lots to do for our guests the wedding weekend, during the wedding weekend. It's also only about an hour from like Orlando proper. I want to say like downtown Orlando. So if people are visiting the parks, it's very convenient just to drive up. I don't want to say I-4 because I don't believe it was I-4, but just to drive up to DeLand, and travel isn't too inconvenient. New Smyrna Beach is also about 30 minutes away from DeLand, I want to say, and that is one of my favorite beaches in Florida. So I know a few of our guests, they enjoyed the beach on the Sunday after. We had a few people go the morning of the wedding. Really, really great area, not inconvenient at all or too far or anything like that. So yeah, I was really happy with everything DeLand, really. Super cool place to get to know via our wedding.